And I'm live. I'm back again. Oh, 902. Wasn't expecting a huge response given that it's daylight. I've posted on Instagram. Oh, hello. YouTube, how's it going? And Sammy, hello. And Albert. And Albert. Yes, I know my internet's struggling. We've already had a few dropouts before anyone joined, but hey, here we go. I'm back in. Yeah, so I was going to say, if I was connected directly to the router, I'd be getting decent struggles to reach that far. Yeah, it's not that great. Do I have NBN? Yes, I do. And it's NBN has been great. I'm just upstairs and quite far away from the router, and there's just not much I can do about that. I have tried using Ethernet via PowerPoints. As of yesterday, bloody hell. Instagram, I posted that. Why? Okay, the internet's worse than normal. We have got mesh Wi-Fi network throughout the house. It still doesn't really work. And I don't have the resources to debug the internet at this stage. It's a holiday project. Yeah, 4 years ago, as of yesterday, I started urbexing. Yeah, so Les, my friend Les and I, Les and I were really good friends. We met in school in year 7, and yeah, we've been really good friends ever since. And then, but we sort of had a falling out of a friendship about 2013, 2014. Yeah, we had our own personal issues, but after a few years of not hating each other or anything like that, but just not talking, just we didn't really have that much in common. We sent me a message and said, hey, I'm going urbexing this Saturday or whatever. Do you want to come? And I said, yeah, sounds great. I'd looked up what urbexing was online and thought it was interesting. And he said he knew of a few abandoned places, so all right, let's do this. The first place that I ever explored was a house, and it's actually just up the road from me, and it's still abandoned to this day. If those of you who watched Fogarty Avenue, if you know the old bong house, the house full of bongs, I forget what the exact title was, but something like that. Yeah, that I was that was my first explore. I don't appear in that video because that video was filmed before that day, but we went there and took a few photos, and yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Then we headed into the city, or near the city, and we explored two great big warehouses. One was an old engineering place, and another was a steel. I forget exactly what they did, but it was something to do with blue scope steel. Yeah, and whether it was just a warehouse or just like logistics, or they actually made something to do with the steel, I don't know exactly. But yeah, blue scope steel warehouse. And then one or two had a weird sort of, it was almost like another building that was inside and that the warehouse had sort of been constructed over the top of. So yeah, there was that, and I think we visited an abandoned car park as well, which I think the car park still exists. The two warehouses are demolished at this point, but I think the car park is still around. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that was a pretty decent day. The first urbexing. Yeah, everything hit off from there. Joined 40 Avenue with Les, which was called LMCSX Urbex at the time. And I thought it was a shocking name to begin with. And Les being Les, I thought that it was a pretty good name. And it took him a long time to come around to the fact that it needed changing. I didn't come up with the name Foggy Avenue, that was Les, but I thought it was a good name. Obviously, the name of the street that Bromley was on, one of London's most famous abandoned places. Yeah, I didn't actually get to Bromley until a bit later in my urbexing journey, if you want to call it that. Career, I don't know. But yeah, so I've really built up, I don't know how many places I've been to now. Probably, my guess would be 300 to 400 different abandoned places. I don't really know though. And yeah, I don't know how I managed to rack up that many places in, 4 years? That's like 100 places a year, so it's not a bad effort. I guess I was very active in my early years, not so much in recent times because uni is a lot more stressful than year 12. There you go. But yeah, so I've been to some crazy places over the years and some crazy stories, so I'll jump right into it. Probably the earliest sort of urbexing story that I can really remember is from when I was exploring the Amcor paper mill for the first time. And we'd gone up there, actually, was it the first time? No, it was the second time. Anyway, we'd, Les, myself, and I think one other, we'd gone up to the top of the tower, I guess. We've gone up to the top of that to have a picnic sunset dinner. And yeah, that was pretty good. And then the sun set and it was getting pretty dark. And so we thought, okay, time to get out of here. And for those of you, g'day Tony. Those of you who aren't familiar with Amcor, there's a lot of glass everywhere, windows to the outside world. So given that it was dark and we didn't want to draw attention to ourselves, using torches wasn't really an option. But so we were just using our phone screens on the lowest sort of brightness, just enough light so that you could see where you were stepping, nothing more. And we successfully make it down all the stairs, and we get outside and it's moonlit and stuff, so we didn't need any lights. We're probably, 50 meters away from the exit, and we think, brilliant, gone off without a hitch, exactly what I wanted. And then out of nowhere, through these loudspeakers that we didn't even know existed, we hear, ding, ding, attention all units, head to section C9, or, something like that. And we were like, holy shit, we've been busted by some sensors or something. Because there was active security on site, but they pretty much just stayed in their security hut, which was far away from the building. But yeah, we shat ourselves. And normally we like to confront security, but in this instance, somebody shouted run, and we bolted. We bolted for the exit, and yeah, we ran. Can you ask where this is? This is Amcor Paper Mill. I'll say where it is. It's in Alphington. It's pretty obvious. If that's not enough to find it, then you don't deserve to know where it is. But Amcor Paper Mill, yeah. And so we bolted out of there, and at the time the entrance to it was sort of near the Yarra, and we bolted, and we like ran up the Yarra River path. I don't know how long we ran for, but it was kind of, looking back on it, I think we ran a little bit excessively. I think once we were sort of out of the general precinct area, we would have been all right. But hey, we were young and didn't know much about Urbex, and so we sort of reacted quite hard. Yeah, adrenaline. It's a common thing of newbie Urbex is that you freak out all the time. I think if you watch Les's original video of Brad Mill, you can sort of see him trying to duck for cover around corners and such. When Brad Mill was the last place you'd be worried about getting caught in. I mean, I rocked up there one time and there was a full-on movie shoot going on. Don't think they got permission, but yeah. And so yeah, we bolted out of there, and it's gave us a good old scare. Funnily enough, that's not the only story I've got from Amcor. The other one was this first or second time I went, I can't remember. But there's a pumping station that's sort of on the edge of the property, an old pumping station, and at the very bottom of it, it's flooded out. You can sort of descend down these metal staircases, and then you get to a certain point where the stairs literally just descend into water. It's a pretty cool place. I know YouTube and Sammy have both been in there, so you'll know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I was down the very bottom right at the water's edge, and took a few photos and such. And then I'd finished taking my photos, and I was about to walk up the stairs, and then I noticed a few steps up from me what looked like a snake. And at first I thought, oh, it's just a toy snake. And so I was about to kick the snake because I thought it was a toy snake. And then, but I thought, oh no, I'll get the others' attention when before I do it. I was like, hey guys, look at this. And at that point, I realized, oh shit, this is a real snake, not a toy snake. I shouldn't be kicking this snake. And it's an eastern brown snake, right? So if you get bitten by this thing and you're down there, you're fucked. Yeah, God. Oh. And I was shit scared. And again, somebody shouted run. And without thinking, I just sort of ran and stepped over the top of the snake. And it hissed at me. Thank God it didn't bite me. But, oh my God, we ran up the stairs like little kids again. And after the adrenaline settled down a little bit, we looked back down to see if the snake had moved at all. And it hadn't. It was still just sitting there. So we were like, okay, that's good. We're getting out of here. We'll leave that snake alone. My heart's racing just thinking about it. Is Amcor still there, or have they started redevelopment? Both. It is still there, and they have started redevelopment. They've just started building houses on the property. It's a very, very large property, and the building that's been there forever only takes up a small portion of it. And they will theoretically demolish that building at some point, which is a shame. But yeah, I don't know what else they're doing with it, honestly. It's a bit of a mess inside. But yeah, Amcor is still one of the coolest places I've been to. Yeah, that's story 2 of 3 in Amcor. Let me just open this door up a little bit. That's my heat control. So 3rd story of Amcor. I talked about the shitty security before, right? Well, it never really improved over the years. I mean, it did slightly. But I went back, I don't know, maybe over 6 months ago, say 8, 9 months ago. I don't know. It was sort of December of last year that I went, and I think I was preparing for my New Year's Eve party there. But in fact, yeah, I was. So it was New Year's Eve. There you go. That can be story 4. New Year's Eve preparations, and yeah, I go in there. I sort of make my way into the property and such, and we know that there's a security car that does its rounds occasionally, but we didn't pay attention too much to it. And then, for whatever reason, at some point, the security car was doing their rounds and they spotted us. And by the time I sort of was gathered everyone to say, hey, we've got to get out of here, security's coming. Security was here in their car. And we were almost out of the gate, but I ended up getting into a situation where I was standing right next to the passenger door of the security car. And what did the security do? They rolled down their window, didn't even get out or anything, and just said, "Oi, what are you doing?" And I said, "See ya." Literally, I did say that to them. And I squeezed between some fences and got out of there. Did we go back later that night? Of course we did. But yeah, I guess continuing on with just the New Year's Eve theme, I've held a couple of New Year's Eve Urbex parties at Encore last year and Nilex the 2 years before. But yeah, so I'd organised this New Year's Eve party, and we had dinner in the park. I cooked pizzas for everyone. They're a little bit undercooked, unfortunately, because my pizza oven, I didn't really know how to use it properly. I thought I did, but I didn't. But anyway, we'd had dinner in the park, and we'd gone up to the top to watch the fireworks, and we were still aware that there was a security car running around, so we didn't really want to draw attention to ourselves. My mate Richie, who some of you know as Urbex Gecko, he was a little bit high, let's say, and he thought that it would be a great idea to take a photo of the security car with the flash on. So that attracted unwanted attention. And yeah, the security guard sort of flashed his torch up at us, but I think that they weren't allowed to actually come into the building because of asbestos and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, and then like maybe 10 minutes later, we see some lights shining up at us again, and we thought it was security again, and then we heard some voices coming into the building, and we thought it was security, but then turns out no, it wasn't security. It was just a different mate of mine who decided to turn up last minute, and I didn't get their messages till last minute, so they sort of gave everyone a bit of a scare. So yeah, that wasn't great, but yeah, it was fine in the end. We never had any further run-ins with security. But yeah, I guess that leads into my stories of my New Year's Eve parties. How did they start? They started because Les and I just thought it would be a cool idea to view the fireworks from an abandoned building that was fairly close to the city and had a decent view. Hello, Nilex. Now, the first party, which was in 2016, it was New Year's Eve of 2016, New Year's Day of 2017, yes. So, over the course of that night, we went to Nilex, and you can see that video on Foggy Avenue's channel. Feels funny to say that, considering I used to be a part of that, but in fact, I edited that video. But yeah, at the time, Nilex was still partially in use. It was only partially abandoned. The actual Nilex silos themselves, because if you're familiar with the Nilex complex, there's two groups of silos on there. There's the Nilex ones, then there's the Victorian Bitter ones, so we went up to the Victorian Bitter ones because that's all we knew how to access at that time. We didn't think that you could access the Nilex ones. And we even would search for how to get in and stuff, but we just couldn't. And then we sort of just went up to there, and I don't know how many people we brought along, probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 people. But then there was a whole bunch of other people that just turned up because they had the same idea. It was a pretty good one for that matter. So yeah, that was a fantastic night. The weather was great, and yes, photographing the fireworks from there was pretty cool. That was an awesome video to edit. Awesome night. But just while we were up the top of the big bitter silos was, hey, there's some people who are up on the actual Nilex ones. And so when it was time to go down, we were like, hey, let's try and find out where they got in. And we searched and we searched and we searched, but we couldn't find where they got in. So, yeah, we ended up giving up. It was still a fantastic night. But then later in 2017, I was at Nilex. I think I was showing my brother around there and a couple of his friends or something like that. I was definitely showing someone around there. And then I happened to bump into a guy I knew called Hayden, who, if you have watched Jay Boston in the past, you might know him as Monkey Man. He's a bit of a punk dude. He's the kind of guy who, if you didn't know him at all, you just sort of saw him in one of those places, you'd probably think to stay away. But he's a really nice dude, and he definitely wouldn't be, even if you were a stranger to him, you could approach him. He just doesn't look like that because he's got his whole punk attire going on, pink mohawk, studded leather jacket. Yeah. But anyway, bumped into him, and he received fresh information about how to get to the top of the Nilex silos. So he showed me how to get up there, and that was awesome being up there for the first time. The Nilex sign is so much bigger than you think it is. You see it from street level and you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of big and whatever. You don't realize how big it is until you're standing right underneath it. You probably, I'd say, just to get to like the bottom row of letters, you've got to climb up about 2 stories on the ladder, and there's another 2 stories in this sign itself. So once you're at the very top, you're about 4 stories higher than you were on the concrete top of the silos. It is insane how big it is. But let's see comments. Red Hen Railcar Star says, cool, reminds me of when I was filming some night trains during the fireworks at the Royal Adelaide Show. Cool. Albert says he remembers me sitting on top of the Nilex Y. Actually, it was the Nilex L. You can't really sit on the Y, but you can pretty easily sit on the L. And yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so this sign is huge. And the cool thing was that this new experience meant that for the New Year's Eve that year, 2017 New Year's Eve, 2018 New Year's Day, we could go to the Nilex silos and the actual Nilex sign. And yeah, I don't know how many people we invited that time, probably a dozen or so, but there ended up being, I think the estimate was about 50 people. There was about 50 people in the end who just sort of randomly rocked up because they had the same idea. There was a bunch of European backpackers who turned up, and had some good chats with them and stuff. So yeah, that was honestly the best night I've ever had. It was such a chill atmosphere. The weather was great. Somebody bought a Bluetooth speaker and we had some music going. Such a chill night. Awesome. And I climbed up to the very, very, very top of the Nilex sign. So you've got the classics word, then you've got the Nilex word, and you've got what was the actual clock above that. So I climbed up to the very top of the clock. So, geez, that's another story in itself. So I'm like 5 stories off the concrete. It's pretty damn high. And I was in the very center of the sign. And the view from there is unprecedented. You get 360-degree views, and oh, I went there for sunrise one time, and YouTube, if you're watching, you'll know with that. Sammy, it's a shame you couldn't have experienced that. Well, you didn't experience that, I should say. But I went there with, that was the first time I met Lucy Mac. And yeah, and so I went there with YouTube's, Panda Explorers, Lucy Mac, and a couple of others, and yeah, we went there for sunrise, and that was the best morning ever. But back to New Year's Eve. When we were sort of getting in the final minutes of 2017, lots of people had come up to the top of the sign, and a lot of people were sort of sitting on the very, very top. And it was, I could feel the whole thing sort of starting to bend a little bit. So I had to say to a few people, hey, there's a few too many people up here at the moment. It's starting to bend. Somebody please get down around. And yeah, a couple of the people who were the last ones to come up said, yeah, all right, we'll go down. So that was good. And yeah, we came down to the fireworks, and I took some awesome shots of the fireworks. Yeah, it was such a cool atmosphere, and just seeing people down below, and they're, you know, they're on top of the Nilex silos and they're small because you're on top of the sign itself. It was insane. Just yeah, wow, bloody insane. And yeah, with the fireworks go off, everything is cool, and we get back down, chill out on the concrete for a bit longer, for another hour or so, and then everyone heads down and heads home. And yeah, it was a very, very cool night. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I later found out in the following days that a mate of mine who I hadn't told that I was going to Nilex, he also chose to take photos of the, and you can see at the very, very top of Nilex, in fact, let me try and see if I can find the photo. It should be pretty quick. Yep, here it is. I don't know how I'm on the internet. Okay, here we are. Okay, so decided to die just as I showed the photo. All right. So if you can see that, just where the blue arrow is pointing, there's a little bit of a bump in the sign, in the very top of the sign. That is me. So, yeah, my friend who didn't even know I was going to be there captured me on top of the sign. So, yeah, that was awesome. Unfortunately, by the time it came around to the 2018 New Year's Eve, 2019 New Year's Day, the security had been beefed up quite a bit because they'd started redevelopment there. And there was no way that we were going to be there. So, yeah, unfortunate, but there you go. So that's how we ended up at Amcor, because we still wanted to do a New Year's Eve party, but yeah, we went to Amcor. Am I going to do another New Year's Eve party? Of course. I'm already sort of thinking about New Year's Eve for this year. Where is it going to be? Possibly in Amcor, possibly at another set of silos that are not Nilex, but are accessible. So if you're in the Urbex community, you're invited. I'll just say there are some well-known silos in the West. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I'll probably go there for New Year's Eve this year. But we'll see. Amcor is closer to the city physically. And it's got a decent view, but it's a little bit cramped on the top once you get a few people up there. So that's why I'm sort of thinking maybe give Sunshine a shot. I don't know. I'll discuss it with people. And if you're one of my Urbex friends, like personal real life Urbex friends, then I'll let you know the details when it comes. Pity Sydney folk don't have such a big community like you guys. Yeah. I mean, Melbourne Urbex has definitely caught on. But I've heard some good things about the Sydney community. Is this where Sam and Colby visited Melbourne on their Australian tour? Oh, I know they went somewhere, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Melbourne Urbex seems more active. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just, yeah. Well, that's true. On YouTube, we're definitely more active on YouTube. In fact, Les and myself, Fogarty Avenue, LMCSX Urbex as it was known then, we were the first Urbex channel in Australia. We were the first serious Urbex YouTube channel, and then a few others cropped up after that, but we were the first, so fun fact. And yeah, I mean, I love that there's more people now. I mean, hello, if people such as Mewtwo, Panda Explorers, Lukey Mac, if they didn't start YouTube and stuff, then I would never have met them. So I'm incredibly thankful to anyone who started YouTube, and encourage anyone out there who's thinking about it to give it a shot. It's hard work, but it's so worth it. Redhen says, I'd say the Melbourne rail and Urbex community is the strongest and biggest in the country. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. I can talk about rail enthusiast communities another time. Yeah. What other stories do I have? I'll tell one about actually getting caught. How about that? I once got caught 4 times in 1 week. I was on a Urbex themed road trip with Les, and so we were hitting up 3 or 4 places in a day, and so yeah, we got busted on our first day by the person who looked after the country primary school that we were exploring. They let us off, of course, because we had a chat to them and said, hey, we're just taking photos, etc. They even asked, because once we explained to them and such, and they'd calmed down, we said, hey, there's a window that's unlocked. Burglars could get in there. And they said, okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to have to contact the police about that. But don't worry, I'm not going to mention you guys. I'll call them after you've left. And they said, oh, have you finished taking photos, or do you want another 5 minutes to finish off, or what? And I said, oh, yeah, another 5 minutes would be good. And so they let me do that. So that was cool. We got caught in another place, so I can't remember what the details were of that. I think it was another sort of owner thing. Let off again. One time we were caught during that span of 4 times getting caught. We were exploring an abandoned hospital, and this place was huge. G'day, Jay. How's it going? Yeah, so I was exploring this old country hospital, and it was huge, and we'd been there for, I don't know, we'd already been there for like a significant portion of the previous day, and we'd sort of come back to finish it off, and we'd sort of done all the accessible parts, and we were somewhere else in the area. I think we were near some of the workers' houses or something like that. And anyway, we see a car pull up, and it's a grey ute, and we think, okay, it doesn't look like a security car. And yeah, we're just gonna see, and we'll just lay low. And then the security guard, I mean, he was a real security guard, but he came around the corner and started yelling at us. And this guy is a man who looks like he's in his 60s. He's got like a beard, and he's got a beer gut, and he's wearing shorts, t-shirts, and thongs. And yeah, he yells at us for a while, and that was caught on video. So as we released that one day, and he ended up letting us off. So yeah, it was a bit of a bogan security guard, but yeah, the trick is to just, if you are caught, just own up to it and just tell them exactly what you're doing, and you'll get out of it. Jay asks, how many videos are in my backlog? I don't know. Forty Avenue backlog is as big as I left it, so that's like 2 years worth of videos or something, but a backlog of videos for this channel, I don't know. I would guess I've got probably 5 or 6 Urbex videos in the backlog, and maybe the same amount in rail videos, something like that. Maybe a bit less rail videos. But yeah, I'll get to them at some stage. Yeah, I'm just very busy with uni at the moment. I'm coming up to exams and stuff, so I haven't been able to put out any videos. That's why I haven't put out any Queensland videos for a while. But yeah, that was funny, getting caught by that security guard. Yeah, that road trip was pretty awesome. We saw some fantastic places. For the rail fans out there, we explored Mertoa railway station, and that has just recently reopened as a museum, but it was completely abandoned when we went there, so that's cool. And maybe I'll put a video out on that one day, I don't know. So, Mertoa station. Yeah, and we had to cut the road trip short in the end. It was meant to go for 3 weeks, but we only went for 2 because we were both just exhausted. And that road trip was the beginning of the end for Fogarty Avenue. And I saw it from the beginning, but those didn't. That's a discussion for another day. What's another story I can tell? How about when I explored the power station? That was probably my favourite explore of all time. A power station that is in the process of being demolished at the moment. But it's fairly well known within the Urbex community. Not too many people actually got to it. It was reasonably exclusive. Yeah, so Tony knows of it. It got around. A lot of people knew about it, but not that many people actually went there because it was fairly out of the way. And yeah. So I went to explore it one time. This was actually just before the road trip. It was a few days before the road trip, the Urbex road trip, and I went in there. Well, I arrived there. I parked my car. I've been given information from a friend about where to park and where to go and whatnot. That's interesting. Tony only knows one person himself that got in. Yeah. I parked my car and etc. Walked down the path, and I found out there was workers there. There's workers there doing something or other. I don't know. The power station had definitely been shut down, but I don't know what they were doing. But anyway, yeah, it was kind of a bit freakish to see workers there, and I was messaging my friends at the time and saying that there was workers there, and they were all going, "Oh, you know, that's it, it's gone. Don't go back." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I've come all this way. I'm just going to go into town, explore some other places, and then come back after the workers have left at like 5:36, something like that. So sure enough, that's exactly what I did. Came back against everyone's advice. But I thought there's going to be no one there. I should be all right. And I was the only one there. That's what made it so cool. I jumped the fence, and it was a fairly long walk from where I jumped the fence to the buildings itself. And it was kind of a bit freakish. But yeah. Anyway, I walked into the building, and I knew that I had limited time. So I just followed instructions as to where to get to the places that were of most interest. And unfortunately, I didn't get to the control room in the end. So yeah, that sucks. What I thought was the control room was locked, but I'm still not entirely sure to this day whether I'd actually found the control room or whether that was just some other room. But anyway, when the first people started going there, the thing was the control room could have been that by the time I got there. Anyway, yeah, it was just an insane explore because it's so huge and you feel so small. And especially for someone who likes industrial type places, it was just insane. I never thought in a million years that I would ever be walking around a power station and was going to be the only one there. So I was like, whoa, that's cool. Tony says he believes that they kept it open for another year due to a heat wave we had that year. And he has done the power station that is north of Sydney. They are amazing. Yeah, power stations are incredible. Dan says, hey, do you know anything about the zigzag railway in the Blue Mountains? Yes, I do. That is slowly getting restored. Back to the power station. Yeah, I felt so small just walking around there. But it was so epic to walk around there. And I got onto the roof as the sun was setting and saw the sunset on the roof. That was just amazing. Took a few awesome photos. And unfortunately, I only had my phone at the time. I'd lost my camera at the time. And so I just had my phone to take photos, but I still managed to get some epic photos. Yeah, and so it got, by the time the sun had set, it was time for me to get out of there, and I could have easily, I'd spent like 3-4 hours there, could have easily done that again. But the problem was there were many, many access hatches on the roof, and I didn't know which one I came out of. So I just went down one of them because I'd wandered around on the roof for a bit and I completely lost track of where I was. And I just walked down one of them and I was lost. I got lost in this huge power station and I just walked around for a bit until I found something that I recognized and got my bearings. I walked around in circles for a bit and yeah, so that was cool. And yeah, the thing was that there were a few lights that would have been like either on sensors or on timers that had come on that weren't previously on. And so it was really eerie for me because I'd see a light on and I was never quite sure until I got closer whether it was one of those sensor automated lights, or whether somebody was here and I didn't want to get caught. So yeah, that was so eerie. But yeah, wandering around there, and I remember walking around at the base of the chimneys and just seeing these gigantic chimneys towering above me. And they're not even that big as far as power stations go, but they were still massive. And oh man, I remember walking around them and just thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to forget this explore, ever. And I haven't to this day, so living up to my own theory, I guess. Walked out of there without a hitch. Claimed to all the friends that said that I was mad going in there, but nothing. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. Comments. Zigzag rails should be open later this year or early next year. That's cool. We've got the rails connected again. Other stuff needs to be done, but that's the goal. Cool. Yes, blah, 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 blah. Albert says, was the place with the power meter over the front door? You mean the power clock? Yeah, that wasn't the front door. I know what you're talking about. Let me see if I can find that photo. But that was that same power station that I'm talking about. Yeah, the megawatt clock. Here it is. Oh, come on. Hello, we're back. Did we miss the megawatt clock photo? I don't know. I'll keep talking about it and show it. So the clocks have definitely been saved. There's definitely been photos of there's definitely been, I've seen photos of that exact place, but without the clocks. So people have definitely, somebody has saved them. I don't know who. I don't know whether it's an official who saved them or what, but that's awesome that they've been saved. Yeah, I just hope that it's a shame that the power station can't be preserved. You can't save everything. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the power station, best explore I've ever done. Now we've clocked over the hour mark, so it's time to wrap it up. But yeah, I'm sure that once I finish exams, I'll get out urbexing again and put a few videos up. My exam should be over in like a couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. My exams will be over with, and that's when the radio station was also another explore. Bonus story, very quickly. I was exploring that, and we almost ran into, or we did run into a homeless guy, and he didn't give us trouble or anything, but he just sort of banged on the door that we were trying to open, so we left him alone. And a couple of guys with high visors rocked up, but they weren't any officials or anything. But yeah, radio studios were an awesome explore, and I spent a night there once up on the tower, so that's pretty good. How am I finding the A7 Mark III in low light? Oh, it's fantastic. It is so good. I love it so much. The A7 Mark III. The low light is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Everything about it is just awesome. I didn't realize how much I was due for a quality upgrade, but there you go. Anyway, unless anyone's got any more thoughts, comments, questions, then I'm going to wrap it up. Look forward to another 4 years of urbexing and creating even more stories. Maybe I'll do a stream in another 4 years' time and say stories from 8 years of urbexing. How about that? So, thank you, Albert. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Glad that we could get a decent audience up, even though it's a Saturday night and not a Friday night. We'll be back to Friday nights in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you later.